It seemed to be centered in a single spot. I was able to get the truck to stop safely on the side of the highway as I leaned over and looked out the passenger window. As the tree line passed the road, I could barely make out a small car at the center of the flames.
That's tough.
I was in awe at the sight, never having seen anything like it.
Yeah. Thank you, excuse me. Yeah, I was in awe too, but you know what? I'ma still keep going. I'ma still keep driving. Cluck what you heard. You got all it's a setup. It's a setup. It's a setup. I don't got time for it.
I quickly undid my seatbelt and got out to see if anyone was hurt.
Wow.
Staying a safe distance away, I tried to look around the scene for anyone. I didn't know how it could have caught on fire, and the car seemed pretty normal. Aside from the burn marks, it kind of looked like a regular parked car, not damaged or anything from any sort of crash. Not seeing anyone nearby though, I feared the worst, that someone may be inside the car. I pulled my phone out and called the police. I was thankful to have enough service to get a hold of them, but they were 15 minutes out, and firefighters and ambulances were even further. Now, I'm no detective, but it just didn't look like an accident in any way. My body shook at the thought, and I turned around to get back in my truck. "Hey, hold up."
Wow.
A man called out from beside me, maybe 30 feet away, but was masked by the falling snow. I looked in that direction, heart starting to race, as two men walked up to me.
Wow.
They were wearing face masks, covering their mouth and nose. I greeted them and asked if they knew about what happened here, and they both shook their heads, which was really odd considering I didn't see or hear them pull up in any car. There was no way they walked here in the middle of nowhere on a highway, so I obviously started getting a really bad feeling in my gut. "I'm gonna get back in my truck and get going. Have a good night, guys," I said, beginning to walk, trying not to seem afraid. "No," one of the men said.
No!
I turned back around, and in that moment, I faced the most terrifying thing in my life. The man had a handgun pointed right at me. I told him I would comply with whatever he wanted, and then he told me to move and stand against the trailer.
I got a question. You can answer if you want to. Has anybody ever came... Oh, I did come face to face with a gun. Remember that Chipotle story? I don't know if I told it. I think I told it. Yeah, but we got robbed when I was at Chipotle at my first location. And they pointed a gun at my face. But I thought it was a joke because guns look like toys. So I wasn't really scared. But like, has anybody ever had a gun pulled out on them, on you? And if so, what were you thinking at that moment?
He aggressively patted me down, taking my wallet and phone, while the other man robbed whatever he could find in the front of the truck. I was trying to hold in tears as I was thinking about my family and how this might be it for me. I was almost sure that they had lit that car on fire now, meaning they likely robbed someone just like me, and I didn't see anyone else around, so we all know what that probably meant. After a minute, the second man reapproached us. He put his hand on the man's shoulder who was holding the gun and leaned in, whispering something in his ear. Then, just like they came, they both rushed into the dark, disappearing through the thick snow. I was in shock, still standing against the truck, before running inside and locking the doors. I didn't have my phone or wallet, so I just stayed and waited for the police to arrive. This whole thing was a big deal in the area for a while, though it happened many years ago. The car was set on fire by the two men, and unfortunately, I was right. They robbed an old lady who was pulled over, and burned the car to make sure no evidence of them was left.
Wow.
They were caught not long after, eventually giving details on where the body was, but they never gave an explanation to why they went back to the scene when they saw me. It could have been to rob me, just as they had done, but it seemed like a big risk for little reward. Most of all, I don't know why they chose to let me live, considering what they had just done to the previous victim. I am grateful though, and I hope nobody else has to go through something like that. My advice is that if you see something, just stay in your car, lock the doors, and call the police.
On me.
Don't go trying to help.
I'm
Because
saying.
there's always a chance that it's going to end up being you who needs help.
I think when you have a gun pointed at your face, your life probably flashes before your eyes.
I was a normal pizza delivery driver for Domino's in high school.
God damn.
I also worked part-time at a Jimmy John's on the weekends.
Jimmy
Just
John's!
a side job. Anyway, I just wanted to put that out there so that you know I'm not just some random guy doing his first delivery. I was very familiar with making food deliveries, and what happened on this night was not normal at all. 90% of the time, I don't take the phone calls. Usually there's someone in the restaurant that takes the orders and gets the pizza ready. Then I just run inside, grab it, and go. This time was no different. I just finished with the previous order and ran inside the shop to pick up the next order. As I grabbed it though, my coworker told me to make sure the guy pays in full. It was an obvious statement, so the fact that he felt the need to say that was weird. I was in a rush because of the snowy roads though, so I just said okay as I walked out. Getting in my car and situating myself, I thought about it a bit more, and then actually wondered why he said that. I settled on the idea that it was probably just some upright guy that was trying to get discounts. I began the drive, and if I remember correctly, it was just 10 minutes away from the shop. I should mention, it was just